The reason why that 1995 $916 million loss that we got for that year was so instructive in how it became an issue was, could he have written that off in stages ever since and not paid any taxes? In other words, could Donald Trump have found himself in a position, thanks to that loss, to carry it out and write it off in one return after another for the better part of a decade? And hence the argument that a lot of Clinton folks are making and not pay taxes at all. We don't know. We don't have those tax records. We don't know a lot about this. This would not be the first family, of course, of great wealth, particularly in the real estate arena, where the laws get a little tricky and a little complicated to try to dodge the tax man any way it can. The question is, did they do it legally, or did some funny stuff come up? Now, Charlie, you and I have covered businessman Donald Trump for many decades. I always thought that he shortchanged his dad in talking about the influence he had, because I think you and I both knew the father enough to know that he was a brilliant real estate titan.
He was actually a billionaire.
Absolutely.
He wasn't. He downplayed that for years.
And when he did it, and the opportunity he saw with our returning GIs, and they were all going to need homes.
Starrett City,
absolutely,
staples of New York real estate
to this day
for the middle class.
To this day. So let me ask you this: is there a sense that you're getting that this is a worry for Trump, and more to the point, who's providing all of this stuff?
Yes, there is a sense. It's always been the real worry of the Mueller investigation. It was not necessarily the Russian collusion aspect, although that's not insignificant, but it was that he would find a way into his business dealings. Listen, it's clear that he's hiding something. How can you say that explicitly? Because he didn't present his tax returns. Thus, he's hiding his tax returns.
Well, his argument was, I'm in the middle of being audited, but
yeah, he's still being audited.
You can present tax returns.
We should point out that every reporter I know has been chasing this story now for years.
Absolutely.
The New York Times had the 95 tax thing statement, New York State statement, during the campaign. I thought Christina might have said it was 95, but it was a 95 thing that they got during the campaign.
That came up during the campaign,
yes.
Right. And its significance was just, if you had a loss of that size, you might not have been paying taxes since.
Just a window into Donald Trump, because he doesn't show his taxes and what he makes and what he doesn't pay and all that. So I would say every reporter I know, I remember when Bill Shine was here, I had a meeting with him when Donald Trump was running. I said, listen, here is his issues. It's on these businesses, it's on taxes, and it's on shell companies and whether they're all kosher. What the Times got that no one else had, and I'm telling you, everybody, Wayne Barrett, Tim O'Brien, David K. Johnson, big reporters that cover taxes, myself, and I don't focus necessarily on accounting and taxes, but when everybody knew this was out there, what none of us had was the Fred Trump tax returns. And that's, somebody leaked that to the Times. And you can sit here and we can guess all day long, but there was clearly a leak from inside Trump Tower or someone close to Trump on those tax returns. I immediately
thought Michael Cohen. I mean, remember when there was a raid on his offices and his home? I mean, he's the president's personal lawyer. Wouldn't he have a lot of this stuff?
He could.
I'm not saying just exclusively. Also,
I'm talking
CFO who once,
I'm just surmising. I'm going to say Michael did it. Yes, he could.
Someone close
to him. So what they did is they got Fred's returns. And when you boiled it down, I mean, it was very well written. I should point out two of the reporters, Russ Buettner and Sue Craig, on that story I worked with, I'm friendly with. So just FYI, full disclosure. And they're brilliant reporters. The thing that got me was the creation of the fake company.
Yes.
That Fred Trump and Donald Trump used that fake company essentially to create sham transactions where they would transfer Fred's wealth to that company and somehow pay for stuff at an inflated basis, right? So you can transfer his wealth.
This third-tier company was
all American
washers and dryers and ovens and stoves for these apartment complexes.
So they would say it cost $10 to buy a stove. They would pay $10. Fred Trump would reimburse the company, the shell company owned by Donald and his siblings, for $20.
Right.
And that's the way he transferred his wealth to this shell company so he could basically pay less taxes than the tax treatment.
What isn't clear in that is did that provide to every transaction for every apartment building, for every purchase? That they did have some documents that I took a good look at. There also these grantor retained annuity trusts, which you and I know for some in the real estate business are a means by which family-owned enterprises use that to protect their shareholders, or in this case, private shareholders or family members.
Absolutely. All these things in and themselves are legal. The question is, when you do a transaction like that, Does the IRS, when they find out about this, or the New York State's insurance department, do they describe it as a sham transaction? And I'm telling you...
Now, the IRS wrote off on a lot of this stuff at the time because there were appropriate appraisals, there were appropriate... I'm getting into the weeds here. But is there a sense now that that was a rigged process, or that...
I don't think it was rigged. I think there was enough gray matter that they didn't look further, because people use these vehicles, and they probably didn't know how much Fred was overpaying on the washers.
Could I flip on another thing here? Because I still think it's going to be hard to prove that this is bigger than it is. But I will say this. I have a feeling, and you and I have talked about this before, that it is a preview of maybe where the Mueller probe is going.
That I agree with.
I've always argued that in the end, much like the Clinton thing that started out looking into real estate transactions, ended up being about an internal blue dress, this thing is veered so far, of course, it's not even going to be about collusion. It's not even going to be about the Russians. It's going to be about business transactions that go back decades.
His people around Trump believe that. I give you a little insight. Remember late last year, early this year, Trump was running around saying, "Oh, I'm going to get off of the charges. There's no Russian collusion. They're going to clear me." Ty Cobb, his various lawyers were saying it. He told that to Chris Ruddy. Chris Ruddy, publisher of Newsmax, who's a confidant of Donald, said that, are you sure about that? Because your real problem may not be the Russian collusion. It may be if Mueller is looking at all your business dealings and whether they were kosher, whether you paid the right taxes. And one person's tax dodge is another person, or loophole is another prosecutor's sham transaction. And I could tell you that there were people that were ensnarled in the whole Enron mess, the whole Enron. There were bankers that were involved in these sham transactions. That's what the government called them. They weren't really real transactions. They were they were superficially legal, but the government said they were unnecessary, and they were only done to hide losses and stuff like that, to sort of hide the football. So remember, it depends on who this goes before. If it's the U.S. attorney, if it's Jeff Sessions, I don't think Trump's going to get indicted. But if it's some state prosecutor, and who knows if
And you exhausted the statute of limitations in some of these issues. Now, other things could come back to haunt them, and it might come up at the White House briefing today.
Suppose Mueller comes out with a report, because presumably Mueller has some of this stuff.
I'm telling you, this Mueller probe is going to be about business transactions.
I agree.
Everything.
I agree. And by the way,
down to that.
His advisors tell him that all the time.
All right. I should stress, folks, we're not trying to minimize this or maximize this. We're just calling it, because Charlie and I, being the quasi-nerds here, he's just a hipper, cooler one. We have followed Donald Trump for many a decade, and his real estate empire, the highs and the lows, and his father, who was brilliant and a real estate titan in his own right, that started all of this. We knew then and appreciated then, as we do now, that the dad was an instrumental figure in the making of Donald Trump. That is not to minimize what Donald Trump did on his own, his marketing skills that, of course, the New York Times brings up to great detail and degree. But I am telling you, I get the increasing sense that this is a focus of things way beyond the New York Times, way beyond.